Today on the Trend Out Loud podcast. Yo, let's go Beyonce, man. Yo, What up? It's your boy Trend Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, yesterday I said I had a huge show. Today is even bigger. Strap in and let's get this show on the road. All right, today I got 3 lead stories for you. We're going to talk about a Mississippi officer that got 20 years in jail, Drake Bell, and Beyonce has a huge announcement. Then we're going to jump into everyone's favorite quick news. We're going to talk Kanye West, Young Thug, a mother who left her toddler home alone, and Grace Jabbari. Then we're going to our speed news, our new segment. It was successful yesterday. We're bringing it back. Speed news. We're going to talk Kris Jenner, Ariana Grande, GloRilla, Nicki Minaj, and Alicia Keys. Then we're going to jump into question of the day. I have another food question. Today's question is, what food do you refuse to eat? This is starting to be a trend out here. I don't know why all these questions are about food, but yo, I'm hungry this week. And then lastly, we're going to close out the show like we always do with a little bit of sports news. We're going to talk about LeBron James and what he said about Steph Curry and Allen Iverson. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, radio, or devices up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. Former Mississippi officer sentenced to 20 years in federal prison for torturing 2 black men in Goon Squad case. This is an interesting story. Let me read the article to you guys. The former deputy pleaded guilty last summer for federal charges, including conspiracy and deprivation of rights, after prosecutors determined he shot one of his victims in the mouth. The assault took place after a 911 call reported that 2 black men were staying with a white woman at a home in Braxton. The deputy, alongside 5 other officers, allegedly kicked the door and attacked the victims. It was reported that the officers used racial slurs, poured milk, chocolate, and alcohol on their faces after forcing them to take a shower together. The 6 officers in the crime have since named themselves the Goon Squad 6. According to CNN, the officers call themselves the Goon Squad because of their willingness to use excessive force and not reporting it. The other sheriff deputies are reportedly scheduled for sentencing this week. I remember when this case happened last year, I actually kind of forgot what was going on in the case and I never followed up. Whenever I hear cases like this, I always try to follow up and see what's going on. I had no idea the trial was even started, but I'm happy to know that justice was served and this guy is getting 20 years. For me, he should have got more than that. The fact that they call themselves the Goon Squad, it's not so much even the crime that he did. For sure, the crime that he did was horrific. But the fact that you and your 5 other officers and buddies are calling yourselves the Goon Squads because you like to do this means to tell me that you've been doing this repeatedly. So this is probably not the first time they have done this. And I just hate when I hear stories like this about officers. And I'm not one to talk bad about police officers. I love police officers. I know how needed they are, but it's officers like this that, you know, cause a bad name for the other officers out there. And I hate hearing stories like this. So I do love when justice is served against police officers, and especially officers that actually have the audacity to name themselves the Goon Squad because of their willingness to use excessive force and not report it. Good on you. Good on the justice system. This is a win. Drake Bell reveals he was reportedly sexually assaulted by Nickelodeon dialogue coach Brendan Peck when he was only 15 years old. This story broke a couple of weeks ago about Drake Bell talking on this documentary, but now we're getting more to this story. Let me read it to you. Drake Bell is currently trending after revealing that he was reportedly sexually assaulted by an adult during his time at Nickelodeon. Drake recently appeared on Quiet on the Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV documentary, which examines some of the brutal and toxic treatment that iconic child stars endured during their time on TV. For the first time, Drake Bell opens up about being sexually assaulted by former Nickelodeon dialogue coach Brian Peck. In the series, Drake explains that Peck drove a wedge between him and his dad and eventually took the spot of his manager. During this time, Drake spent a lot of time at Peck's home, which was where the assault originally began. During October 2004, Peck was convicted of sexual abuse charges, including oral copulation with a minor under 16 and performing a lewd act with a 15 or 14-year-old. Peck spent 16 months, only 16 months in prison, and was required to register as a sex offender. At the time of the case, the victim was identified as John Doe. This is the first time that Drake has publicly identified himself as the victim in Peck's crimes. Wow, man, that is tough. I do have a video. I'll play it for you guys. This is a video of Drake Bell talking on the documentary. Take a listen.
I just opened my eyes. I woke up and he was sexually assaulting me. You know, what am I gonna call my mom and be like, hey, this just happened. Can you come pick me up? I'll just sit here and wait.
What a sad story, man. Listen, it's tough reporting on stories like this. You could hear the sadness in his voice, and a little bit, I don't know if sad is the right word, but just like the depression and just how he's struggling to just even relive it, you know? But I guess the silver lining is that he's able to talk about it and share his story with other people. And I guess that encourages other people that are in that situation to come out and talk about it. Also, on the flip side, people that are thinking about committing these crimes, that, you know, people are going to go to authorities and people feel more comfortable for coming out and talking about these things. It's beyond me how this guy, Brian Peck, could be convicted and he only gets 16 months. I think that is utterly ridiculous. The penalties in the States for these kind of things, even here in Canada, it's ridiculous. To me, these things should be like life sentences. But anyways, and the other thing too, what's sad is, I don't know if you guys caught, but like just the name of the documentary, like Quiet on Set, the dark side of kids TV, you know, like just like the dark side. When you think of kids TV shows, it's supposed to be fun, learning, math. Like you wouldn't think these are the things that go on, right? Nickelodeon, it's a kids TV channel. You would think that there is, you know, the like things to protect these kind of things from happening. But, you know, some people are sick out there. You see that he said he drove a wedge between him and his dad, and he actually even stayed at this guy's house. So anyways, like I said, the silver lining is that Drake is able to at least talk about it and confront his demons. And anybody out there that's listening to this, that's going through anything, you know, get therapy, deal with whatever you have to deal with. And like he said there, it's like, I was 15 years old. What am I going to do? Call my mom? Yes. Call your mom, call your parents, talk about it. The more we talk about these things, the more we bring them to the forefront. It frees other people who have been in the same situation. And it also lets people know that there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? There's shame. It takes the shame away from it. That's the word I'm looking for. It takes the shame away, and it gets other people feeling more comfortable to express what they're going through. Anyways, shout out to Drake Bell. This is actually really, really brave of him. So we should all applaud this and have his back and support the documentary and support any of those kids who have been hurt in situations like this. Okay, and our third lead story. Okay, I'm going to try to give you guys a little something more upbeat. Those first two lead stories were kind of a little bit depressing, but let's try to bring the energy back up in here and talk about Beyoncé. Beyoncé posted on her Instagram, Act 2, Cowboy Carter is releasing March 29th. Let's get a round of applause in the studio for Beyoncé. Whoop, whoop. You guys know, I told you, I think last week, I think I'm slowly becoming a part of Beyoncé's fan club, the Beehive. I'm not a full-fledged member, but I'm inching my way up there, man. I'm a little Beehive member. I'm a little bee buzzing around out here. I'm super excited for this album. I'm super excited to hear Beyoncé in another genre of music doing country. So I'm excited about this. And I love the Renaissance Dance album. She put out a big post. I've been hearing how like sentimental it was and meaningful. So I'm going to read a little bit of it to you, and then we're going to jump into quick news. Today marks the 10-day countdown until the release of Act 2. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to all my supporters of Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages. I feel honored to be the first Black woman with a #1 single on the Hot Country Song charts. That would have never happened without the outpouring of support from each and every one of you. My hope is that years from now, the mention of an artist's race as it relates to releasing genre of music will be irrelevant. Wow, that's a big statement coming from Beyoncé. That's really nice to hear. This album has been over 5 years in the making. It was born out of an experience that I had years ago where I did not feel welcome, and it was very clear that I wasn't. But because of that experience, I did a deep dive into the history of country music and studied our rich musical archive. It feels good to see how music can unite so many people around the world while also amplifying voices of some of the people who have dedicated so much of their lives educating on our musical history. This criticism I faced when I first entered this genre forced me to propel past the limitations that were put on me. Act 2 is a result of changing myself and taking the time to bend and blend genres together to create this body of work. Woo, that sounds exciting. I have a few surprises on the album. I have collaborated with some brilliant artists who I deeply respect. I hope that you can hear my heart and soul and all the love and passion I poured into every single detail and every sound. I focus on this album as a continuation of Renaissance. I hope this music is an experience, creating another journey where you can close your eyes, start from the beginning, and never stop. This ain't a country album. This is a Beyoncé album. This is Act 2, Cowboy Carter, and I am proud to share it with y'all. Yo, let's go Beyoncé. Another round of applause. Yo, I am so excited for this album. I'm so excited. You know what I'm going to do? I am actually going to play Texas Hold'em. I know this is a 90s and 2000s hip hop and R&B show, but you know what? It's my show. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I am going to play Beyoncé Texas Hold'em. If you're watching this on YouTube, I keep telling y'all, you got to catch us on CFQR600.com weekdays from 11 to 12 so that you can hear the music that I play along with this podcast. If you're on CFQR600.com or on your radio right now, stay tuned for Beyoncé Texas Hold'em. Let's go. All right, that's it for my 3 lead stories. Let's kick it off to All right, that's it for my 3 lead stories. It's time for quick news. Ring my bell. Kanye West reveals he did receive a verse from Ice Spice for his song New Body, but he's saying that her team is not allowing him to use it. This comes after Yes Jules posted an alleged message between herself and Kanye, revealing he allegedly sent the song to both Doja Cat and Ice Spice. If you recall, Nicki Minaj was the first female on the song, but after a much delayed release and the song being leaked, Nicki decided not to clear her verse. All right, so that's the story behind the verse of what's going on with New Body. Kanye West put this in, I think it was his Instagram. He put, Ice Spice sent me a verse for New Body. Now her team is saying we can't use it. I don't know why this is making the news. This happens all the time. Artists send in tracks. They get annoyed with the artist. They don't like what's going on. Things leak. They hear that there's another artist coming on. Nicki Minaj, Ice Spice, Doja Cat. It's not a big deal. Guess what? It's Kanye making noise. It's Kanye's marketing machine. We talk about this every day. Let's move on to the next story. Donald Trump's lawyers reveal that he cannot afford to pay $460 million bond in fraud case. All right, this has been going viral on social media for a day. People are making fun of Donald Trump because he recently was bragging about being a billionaire and being worth close to like $10 billion and not being able to even pay this $500 million lawsuit. Well, not lawsuit, bond for the fraud case. Take a listen to the video.
I have a total net worth well over $10 billion. I'm not doing that to brag because you know what? I don't have to brag. I don't have to.
All right, here's a quick part of the story. Donald Trump is allegedly struggling to find an insurance company that will cover his court-ordered payment in this New York City trial. Social media users react by creating Trump is broke hashtag, which is currently trending. All right, so if you guys want to know more about the story, go on Twitter and type in the hashtag Trump is broke. You'll see all the jokes that are going on. How are you going to be out here bragging that you're worth, oh, I don't want to brag. Actually, sorry, he says, I don't want to brag that I'm worth $10 billion, but now you can't afford to come up with $500 million to pay for your court order trial. Maybe you shouldn't have been lying about how much money you have in the first place. A state witness in Young Thug's trial admits to being so high that he actually might fall asleep. We actually have audio for this. Take a listen.
Did you hear you say that?
Man, can I get a water or something? I'm so high right now, y'all. I'm about to go to sleep on y'all ass. I ain't gonna tell you no lie.
This is ridiculous. This is a RICO trial that's happening for Young Thug, and this man is in the courtroom falling asleep. Like, this is like, I understand it's not as big as Trump, but this is still a RICO case brought on by Fani Willis, the same DA attorney who is bringing the case against Donald Trump. This is how big this trial is, and the state's witness is up there falling asleep. When I first heard about it, I thought it was somebody on the defense's team. But when I heard it as a state attorney, I was like, yo, fall asleep all you want, man. Free Thug. A mother who left her toddler home alone for 10 days to go on vacation was sentenced to life in prison for the horrific murder. This is just ridiculous. Why are we having all these depressing stories in the Trend Out Loud podcast today? What's going on with these producers here, man? The 32-year-old mother left her toddler unattended at home in Cleveland for 10 days while she went on vacation to Puerto Rico. Upon her return, she found the baby unresponsive and called the authorities, who pronounced the child dead at the scene. Some people are crazy. Some people should not be allowed to have children. Anyways, I don't even want to read more of this story. This is just depressing, man. At least she got life in prison and will never see the day of light again. This is crazy to me. Grace Jabbari files lawsuit against Johnathan Major months after he was convicted for assaulting her. The lawsuit details assault, battery, and defamation. What is going on? She just sued him a couple of months ago. Like, literally, it's just 2 months, and he was found guilty. Like, how is she suing him again? Oh, this episode is depressing, man. There's too much crime and too much defamation and too much assault. Like, what's going on? Anyways, I'll read you guys a little bit of the suit. This is craziness what's going on today. Anyways, I'll read a little bit of the suit to you. According to the suit, on September the 20th in 2022, after a very large verbal fight, Majors pushed Gracie so hard it bruised her backside. He apparently picked Gracie up in the air and threw her against the hood of her car, and then he brought Gracie back into the house and held his hands against her neck, and then stated that he wanted to, I'm not going to read these things out, that he wanted to do harm to her. Majors then started hitting Gracie in her head, etc., and was doing a bunch of violent things to her. This is just nuts. Anyways, for those of you who don't know the details of the story, Johnathan Majors was convicted 2 months ago. I'm sure everybody knows about this story by now. I mean, it was everywhere, made headlines. This guy was a Marvel actor. It was everywhere in Universal Studios, and he lost all of his gigs because he was found guilty. But I guess this is just a whole other separate incident. I didn't know that. I thought once you were found guilty of physically abusing somebody, then, like, I didn't know that you could be brought to court for another time. So, like, if you do it 10 times, you can be brought to court all 10 times, and then you get 10 different sentences. I thought it was like if you got charged for the history of doing something. So, anyways, there must be something to this. But Gracie is bringing Johnathan Majors to court again, and he's probably going to get found guilty again and being convicted. This is just nuts out here. But that's the story. All right, this brings us to our new segment, Speed News. Ring my bell. Kris Jenner has revealed that her only sister has passed away. It is with heavy heart and the deepest sadness that I share that my sister Karen passed away yesterday unexpectedly. Rest in peace to Karen, and my condolences to the Kardashian family. Ariana Grande to pay ex-husband Darian Dalton $1.25 million lump sum as part of their finalized divorce settlement. Ouch. GloRilla posted on her Twitter, New Orleans really got the best food in the whole entire world. I stamp it. Hold on, GloRilla, you know how much I love you. You know you're one of my new favorite artists out here, but the New Orleans got the best food in the world? When I first read this, I thought you were going to say best food in the United States, in the world. Yo, somebody please get GloRilla a passport and take her around the world, because she clearly is missing out here. Nicki Minaj's tour has been put on hold. She has stopped one night in New Orleans due to her being sick. She put this in a statement. Due to doctor's orders, Nicki Minaj must reschedule her New Orleans show tonight, as Nicki is still sick. Our team does not want to run the risk of others getting sick, and Nicki would not be able to give New Orleans the show they deserve. We are working diligently to find a new date, so please hold on to your tickets, as we will inform you what is going on soon. That's basically like, yo, please don't hand in your tickets because we don't want to refund y'all. Anyways, I'm just joking. Shout out to Nicki. I hope you get soon and can get back on your tour. Alicia Keys and Roc Nation donate $60,000 to Performing Arts School as students create a GoFundMe to address their budget cuts. That was nice of Roc Nation and Alicia Keys. We love to see it. After noticing that the GoFundMe was created by students for the New York City Performing Arts School, Alicia Keys and Roc Nation decided to donate. The students that attend the school started to raise money in lieu of budget cuts. In order to keep their program going, they needed to raise $100,000. Alicia Keys once attended the school along with notable alumni like Britney Spears, Jeremy Allen White, and others. So shout out to Alicia. That was really nice, man. And Roc Nation. Shout out to Jay-Z. And in our last speed news, President Joe Biden proposes tax cuts that will give home buyers $400 per month for 2 years. The president is calling on congressional Republicans to pass his plan, which proposes a $10,000 tax credit spread over 2 years, which is roughly $400 per month for first-time home buyers and individuals that want to sell their first home. Yo, Justin Trudeau, give us a tax cut. Give us some help up here in Canada, man. We need some money. All right, this brings us to question of the day. Like I said at the top of the hour, we have another food question. These food questions are fun, man. What food do you refuse to eat? All right, Fame82 wrote gumbo. Why do you want to refuse to eat gumbo? Gumbo tastes nice. Hair Angel 404 wrote okra. Yo, this girl stole my answer. This is what I refuse to eat is okra. I used to wait till after to tell you guys my answer, but it's okra. I am Jamaican. Okra is I don't know if it's a famous dish, but it's a pretty popular dish in Jamaican cuisine. And I hate it. My sister loves it. It's gooey. It tastes like it tastes like you sneezed in your mouth. It's just gross. I can't believe anybody who would eat that. So I agree with you. Oh gosh, okra is horrible. Anyways, I gave you guys my answer early. Little Brat wrote white people mac and cheese. What does that mean? I didn't know there was black and white mac and cheese. What are you talking about? Nelly Nell _1 wrote chitlins. Imagine eating doo-doo. I don't know. As a Canadian, I don't know what chitlins are. I know I've heard it in movies, and I've heard a lot of Americans talking about it. I don't know exactly what chitlins are, but I doubt it's actually doo-doo. But anyways, It's Boss Tech wrote liver. That's another one that may have been on my list, but I wouldn't refuse to eat it. When I was a kid, my mom made liver, and I liked it. I didn't hate it, but I can understand liver. Hot Boy Quan wrote Twizzlers. You might as well go chew on a tire at this point. How could you refuse to eat Twizzlers? Twizzlers are amazing. Chris82 wrote chitlins. I don't care whose mama made them. I'm never eating that. All right, that's a second chitlins around here. I Am Narcos wrote, I ain't trying to eat no pig's feet, especially out of a jar. Hell no. What is wrong with y'all? Yeah, I've eaten pig's feet before in a St. Lucian meal. It's called souse, and it's like a pickles pig feet. It's actually really good. I don't know if it's only St. Lucian's, but I know it's a Caribbean meal. For sure, I've eaten pig's feet. Somebody wrote olives. Yes, that's another thing. I hate olives. I refuse to eat olives. Thank you. That's another good one. Maya62 wrote spam. Yo, there's nothing wrong with spam, man. You can tell you're rich. Yo, I love me a spam sandwich. Nana Mills wrote cottage cheese. What? Cottage cheese is amazing. Lori Tobin 82 wrote raw seafood. What? You're crazy. That's amazing. Ask Cassandra wrote mushrooms. Mushrooms are amazing, but I could see why you don't want to why somebody would refuse to eat them. I get that. Whitney Laura wrote, I know it's a drink, but milk? How can you refuse to drink milk? Do you guys know that we are the only species that continues to drink milk after we're adults? All other species only drink milk when they're babies, and we're the only species that drink milk from other animals. Other animals don't drink milk from other animals, and we're the only ones that drink it as an adult. So I see where you're coming from, but still, I don't know if I would refuse that. Well, I wouldn't refuse it. Well, I'm lactose intolerant, but anyways, this is too much information about me. Let's go back to the comments. Jay Rizza wrote, any meat that comes out of a can. Yo, I feel you. I obviously will do it. I just said I'll eat Spam or corned beef or whatever. But I hate the thought of it. Like, how is there fish like sardines or tuna or salmon or meat? How is it in a can for years but still safe for me to eat? I know it's preservatives and stuff, but I totally understand that. Again, I wouldn't refuse to eat it because I've been broke. So I know what it's like to just be able to just fill your stomach. So I can't say I'll ever refuse it, but I know where you're coming from. Poncho 502 wrote chicken feet. You see those videos on Instagram with these people eating chicken feet? I feel you on that. All right, I'll read two more. Round Robin 82 wrote beets. Oh, I used to love beets as a kid. All right, the last one, chitlins. There you go. I think it's unanimous. Nobody wants to eat chitlins out here. All right, I gave you guys my answer. My answer is olives and okra. Horrible. I'm refusing. Don't bring that to me. I'm not eating it. All right, this brings us to sports news. Yesterday, I told you guys about LeBron James and JJ Redick having a podcast, starting a podcast. And on their first episode, LeBron James said this: Steph and Allen Iverson are the two biggest influential guys in our game since I've been watching it. That is a huge, huge statement coming from LeBron. He went on to say, Steph single-handedly changed the no lead is safe. And you got AI, unbelievable crossover, cornrows, arm sleeves. Everybody wears an arm sleeve now because of Allen Iverson. Shout out to LeBron. I love when I hear athletes talk about other athletes in their game. It's not like a basketball player talking about a football player. This is one of the best to ever do it, complimenting other athletes. So I love to see it. So shout out to LeBron. Shout out to JJ Redick. I am going to check out that podcast. Like I say to you every day, yo, I'm just a podcast guy, man. I'm out here supporting anybody who's doing podcasts. Every day there's a new celebrity supporting podcasts. Talking about that, make sure you support your boy, the Trent Out Loud podcast. Thank you for watching the show. This is the end of the show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. For those of you on YouTube and podcast platforms, make sure that you check us out on CFQR600.com. Weekdays from 11 to 12, you will hear the podcast, but we also put music to it. It is a R&B and hip-hop, 90s and 2000s R&B and hip-hop. For those of you who are listening on the radio on CFQR 600 AM or .com, if you do want to catch the Trent Out Loud podcast and you cannot listen to it during the time, but during between 11 and 12, make sure you check us out on YouTube or podcast on demand. Just go to YouTube and you can play the show, or go to podcast platforms. You can play the show anytime you want. Make sure to comment and subscribe below, and let me know what you think of the show. I want to hear your comments. Let me know what food you decide, what you refuse to eat. Let me know what you liked of any of the stories that I spoke about today. And if you can't comment, send me an email, trentoutloud@cfqr600.com. I definitely love to hear your opinions on what you have to say and how you like the show, how you like the music. That's it. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. I'm out. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Peace! For more content, you could subscribe, download, or listen to the Trent Out Loud podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts, or you could watch us on YouTube. Just search Trent Out Loud. For showtimes and updates, you could follow us on all social platforms at Trent Out Loud. Go to signupexpert.com/Trent. Once you sign up for all betting apps and get all your bonuses and get all your rewards, go to your app store and download BetStamp and use promo code TOL.